Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Leadership Talks for Emerging Leaders. Leadership Talks is a podcast hosted by Leadership Card, a leadership coaching training organization. Leadership Card is the brainchild of four individuals: Kiran, Sandhu, Ashish Datta, Ram Ramakrishnan, and Devesh Mohan, who share a common vision and mission to support 1 million emerging leaders to solve problems for self and the organization. Leadership Card runs leadership programs for individual contributors and corporate clients. Our coaches collectively have over 100 years of experience and come from diverse fields such as academics, finance, real estate, and sales. Every week on Leadership Talks, we invite leaders from varied fields and industries to share their story and share tips and strategies which you can apply to accelerate your professional growth journey. I'm your friend, Kiran Sandhu, a leadership communication coach, and I'm hosting today's episode along with Mr. Devesh Mohan on the topic Risk and Innovation, Striking the Right Balance as a Leader. Over to you, Devesh.
Thank you, Kiran. And today we have a privilege of having Pawas Krishna Agarwal, who is currently working as a Chief Operating Officer with Vibgyor Group of Schools, which has more than 55,000 students in 39 schools across 13 cities in India. Pawas is a chemical engineer from IIT Kanpur and an MBA from IIM Calcutta. Pawas started his career with Tata Administrative Services and worked with different Tata Group companies for 18 years, with last being as a Chief Risk Officer with Tata AIA Insurance. Thereafter, Pawas decided to pursue his passion of sharing his knowledge and experience to the next gen leaders through his innovative advisory and through his innovative thinking and delivery model. And he continues to remain academically inclined and plays a key role in learning and education sector. Few It's still not finished. There's so many things which we can talk about Pawas, but I'll just cover few of the many uploads which he has been having. So Pawas is also a certified corporate director and a certified executive coach. So welcome, Pawas, and thank you so much for making this time with us today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Devesh, and thanks a lot, Kiran,
Thank you.
for inviting me over here. I think this is the best uh, investment that I could have made of a Saturday afternoon, frankly.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pawas. So, Pawas, I was while going through your profile, it just stuck to me that actually you have transitioned from such a highly successful corporate career and moved into a knowledge-based industry to help the next generation leaders which are there, and you are supporting them in all the way which you can. So my couple of thoughts which were coming in my mind was that how easy or difficult it was for you to transition in this, and while you transitioned into this knowledge based industry, did you require to change your leadership style to suit the needs of the different industry? So those was two things which were just coming in my mind. So I thought maybe let me hear from you. What are your thoughts on this?
Sure, sure. Thanks, Devesh, for that question. It's a, I think it's a very valid first question. Let me put it this way. Given my profile, this question would be true for any entrepreneur, who has put in uh, a decade, 2 decades of corporate work experience and then move into entrepreneurship. So I'm not, something very different on that stage. But this is my story. So let me, beat a little bit drum on this for myself.
Absolutely.
So, your first question was it easy or difficult for me to take that move? Uh, so so it was easy. The short answer is it was easy,
Okay.
and I'll tell you why. You will have, I mean, as a person, you will have to tick off some boxes when you take the decision, and I did that for myself. And most of those ticking of boxes is around your financial security, frankly. Right? So if anyone wants to get into entrepreneurship from a corporate career, I think the first box that one needs to tick, and I did that for myself, is to ensure financial security for yourself and for your family. In my case, I had no loans. I had good savings. Uh, my wife is working, so she gets a salary. And I said, okay, I'm in the middle of my career. I was 42 then. I have done 18 years of work, and even if we just take for the sake of mathematics that I would retire at 60, I have 18 years on the other side to retire. So I thought, let me, it's a good midpoint, absolutely midpoint mathematically, that I can do something like this. uh, and I said, okay, I have ticked that box of financial security, let me just do it. Of course, something was also parallelly brewing on the personal side, so that also helped in one sense. uh, so so when I say it was easy from that point of view. However, there would be people, and there would be a lot of colleagues who are listening to this show, who would not be in that position. So it's actually a personal context. In my personal context, it
Absolutely.
was easy. So I did that, and so that was easy from a taking that step point of view. Now let me answer the same question when I actually got into it and started working in it. So in hindsight, it was a mix of easy and difficult. To set up a company in India is not easy. It takes a few months and a lot of follow up. To look for an office space, to look for good partners, to look for good unique products, to look for good clients who pay you. So all of this,
Yes.
you have to do it uh, from day zero, day one yourself, because there is no other one who's going to do it for you, unlike in a company where you might have an army of people to do this for you. But when you are an entrepreneur, you're alone. You start off alone, you start the journey alone. And in
Absolutely.
that context, it's difficult. uh, uh, so I think it's about plodding along. It's like water flowing. You just flow with the what as the water flows, and it will find its way. In hindsight, that's what I realize. You make those many calls, you make those many calls to clients or to potential partners, or keep looking for new ideas and so on and so forth. And over a period of time, and it's not going to take a lot of time if you're reasonably smart about it, within a few months you would have figured out what is going to work, what's not going to work. And then you will sort of let me say prioritize where to put in your efforts, and so on and so forth. So after that, it becomes easy. So a long answer to your short question. It's easy to For me, it was easy to get in, a little difficult in the beginning, but after that it became a little easier. Just to give you some numbers, when I started my company as an entrepreneur, of course I had zero clients, and in less than 3 years, we had 43 clients to be precise,
Wow.
and all of them were business clients. So they were not. I was not in a retail business; it was a B2B business. So that's what we did. In the context of COVID, most of the time it was actually COVID. So in spite of that, I mean, of course, one can say in hindsight that if COVID was not there, this 43 clients would have been, I don't know, whatever number,
Many
more
more.
than 43
Many
for
more.
sure. But it doesn't matter. COVID was there, and and uh,
Yes.
and we had 43 clients at the end of at the end of COVID. So that's what is important. Your second question,
Yeah.
Devish.
Yes.
Your first question was, of course,
Yeah.
was it easy or difficult? And if you could just recap, not just for me,
Just
but
so
even for the.
so yeah, definitely. So that's a great learning powers what you talked about, because it's just not about the passion. What you're saying, that you put your brain behind, put your mathematical calculation behind, to just see that okay, this is a good thing. And that's where basically passion along with that prudence which you brought into the table was really great, as a, I think, one of the great message for our viewers here. The uh, the second, the part of this question was in terms of that, while you changed from corporate to into your knowledge and learning industry, does it require for you to change your leadership style also? because that's very important in terms of to know
Yeah,
that how you were able to manage, because
yeah,
both are very different words. So
yeah.
what will you say
So
about that?
sure. So in a typical corporate role, and as you grow in your corporate career, of course, one gets a little more senior. People start reporting into you, and you may end up being in either business roles or support roles, right? Even as a senior person, senior professional.
Right.
Uh, and if you are in a business role in a corporate setup, uh, in some context, you might have thousands of people reporting into you eventually, indirectly, and over there a little bit of command and control works, because that's how that thing will work. It's
Mm.
like leading an army. You
Mm.
know, you have
Absolutely.
to uh, tell them, those thousands of people, what to do, when to do, etc.,
Mm.
etc. So it's
Mm.
a little bit of command and control in that context.
Mm.
The other context is, if if you're in a support role in the corporate context, right? That means by definition you are leading a low resource department. That means not too many people working in a department, but you are more in an influential role. You influence people at the leadership level. Actually, what happened is, because of the way my career shaped up, I actually moved into the top leadership of companies in a influence role, not in a command and control role. So because of that, actually that helped me in my entrepreneur journey, because
Mm.
as an entrepreneur, nobody reports to you. I mean, and you have to literally, sit outside clients' offices, who may be several, years and experience or designation or whatever profile wise, several notches junior to you. You might actually have to wait on them. So
Yeah.
so so, you know, you as an entrepreneur, you actually start off as an influence. You start off as an influencer, right? So actually the last part of my corporate role, which was in an influence role, helped me being in a good influence role as an entrepreneur. uh, so what happened is, before I joined, I had the opportunity to move into the top leadership of a company. I was actually in business roles, so I was in sales, marketing, retailing kind of roles, and that was a command and control kind of a format. And in my current context as a chief operating officer, I'm again in a command and control kind of a format. So you know, the early part of my career was in command and control experience. The last 10 years has been in a influence format, and now I'm again in a command and control
Again.
format. So I actually now bring a very good blend and a mix of influence and command and
Both.
control. So you will know that if you're extremely command and control oriented, it can get very very bad and nasty, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you can actually blend that with a good influence skill, more humane, more understanding, more empathy, I think
Mm.
command and control is more effective as well in that sense.
No,
So that's how my
right.
career has been shaping up, and I'm actually thankful that it shaped up like that. Or I could have been a
Yeah,
very different personality.
absolutely. No, very yes, true powers, because I think that dynamicness which was there help you in terms of now, with that blend of experience which you have, you can just change your hats in terms of that, what's going to work, and that's so important being as a CEO of an organization. So great, thank you so much, Powers, for in
So,
detail sharing your perspective here. So yeah, over to you, Kiran.
so now, Pawas, I was just thinking about, how you've talked about the different leadership styles that you've gone through. And even though you are saying that right now, as the CEO of Vibgyor Group of Schools, today you have over 55,000 students in 39 schools across 13 cities. Now, I would say you're actually probably influencing a lot of decision making that is happening across the country. influencing the students, influencing the teachers, and that command and control is also happening. So you are obviously looking at it from the command and control and influencing that. But interacting with this population of people that are
mm,
working with you in your organization, what are
mm,
some of those common leadership traits that you have seen in
mm,
our new in the young generation, and
mm,
what do you think would be what are what does the market want, what do people want from our young leaders? Would you be able to
mm.
share a little insights about the influence and all that?
Sure, sure. Kiran, you know, I like to prepare for stuff that's happening. So I actually prepared for this. Not the question, but I actually looked back on my own life, professional, personal, and I tried to cull out for the young emerging leaders.
Hmm.
What are those things that they could sort of take away? I thought it
Absolutely.
would be good to think about this at my level beforehand and then
Yeah.
give them as a takeaway rather than me just shooting off the hip in so to say, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so let me start with four things that
Mhm.
I'm seeing, and I have worked with. Uh, of course, I have worked with professional adults. I have worked with university students. I was, as you might know, I was the pro vice chancellor of a large, well-known university in India, and I am currently leading a large chain of schools. So when I see some of these students later on in their careers and lives, and I'm in touch with several of them, four things come out. First is that mostly people end up everywhere. So I studied chemical engineering. I have not done a single day of chemical engineering in the last 23 years.
Hmm.
Okay, so and this is the norm. So people study something and they end up something else, doing something else. So that's one thing. I wanted all of the
Yeah,
emerging leaders to
and
be
probably all
aware of.
three would be examples of it. All three of us are
Right.
examples of.
Right. So you will end up, you don't even know where you'll end up. All right. So, but what does it mean for you? And I'm going to come to that. So this is one thing that you must be aware of. I'm going to come to what you need to do to take care of this.
Hmm.
The second is the concept of multiple careers.
Hmm.
The three of us on this show, and I'm telling you, I can bet on this. Everyone listening to this show also has had multiple careers.
Hmm.
So multiple careers is a fact of life today. Unlike in our parents' generation, where you know, uh, like my parents or my parents-in-law, Devesh's parents-in-law, or his parents, they had one career, right? But the three of us and everyone listening to the show will have or has multiple careers. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's the second thing I want to leave everyone with. This is a fact of life. You have to prepare for this.
Hmm.
The third thing is not only multiple careers, you will have parallel careers,
Hmm.
right? Like Devish is having a parallel career. He's doing three things at the same time, and we spoke about it just before the show, right?
Hmm.
And I'm sure Kiran, you also will be having some parallel careers. You'll be doing some things professionally at the same time, right? Not just doing focusing on one thing professionally. I'm saying which
Yeah.
which which gives you money, right?
Yeah.
The fourth thing is irrespective of how lucky you are, what star you were born under, etc., etc. Everyone will go through personal and professional, uh, you know, straits. Let me say,
Unique things.
there'll be some adversity that you will go through in
Hmm.
life, and that's another fact, professional or personal, right? So four things. One is you don't know where you'll end up professionally. Second is you will end up having multiple careers. Third is you will have parallel careers, and fourth is you will have adversities in life. All right. So these are the four things. Now, how can you prepare for this? And I looked at myself. Right. I'm not. This is not knowledge from some book or Google or something like that. I actually reflected on my own life and came up with these uh,
Hmm.
six things. All right.
Wow.
So there are
Hmm.
four things that will happen to everyone, And how can you prepare for those 4 things is by looking at the 6 things. All right, I'm being you can imagine how I manage my team now. So first is uh, first thing is you have to be believing in yourself. I mean, your own, uh, whatever you are. There is only one of you, right? Uh, uh, there is only one Devesh Mohan. There is only one Kiran Deep Sandhu. There is only one Pawas, right? And the fact that you exist means that you are a winner, right? And I'm going back to how each of us was conceived. There are millions of sperms competing.
Absolutely.
There's only one sperm that won, and and because of that one winner, all of you are here. So you're already a winner. All right.
Absolutely.
So
I love
believe in
it.
yourself.
Believe
Believe
in
in yourself. Every one of you is a winner. All right. So believe in yourself, and that belief will give you strength to take care of those 4 things I talked about. All right.
Yeah.
This is first thing. Second is about network. So as you go through life, you will meet different people, whether you're in school, college, jobs, as an entrepreneur, neighborhood, whatever. Invest in those relationships. It's not about what you will get out of them. Do not invest into a relationship with a view that I will get something in return later. That will not work. But invest in relationships that you think you enjoy at a very basic level, right? So do that, and you don't know how those relationships will come back and help you later. Steve Jobs talked about connecting the dots in a Stanford University convocation address. I call this collecting the dots, not connecting the dots. But first, for dots to connect, you have to collect them, right? So this is called collecting the dots. So that's the second thing I want to leave everyone with, that you have to invest in relationships that you enjoy. All right, because you don't know how they'll come and help you later, but not with the intention of that they will come and help you later, right? The third thing is, and I'm in education space, and Kiran is in education space, and Devesh is also in education space. Maybe a lot of listeners to the show are also in education space. You don't teach, you don't cover subjects. The best way to do it is you uncover subjects in our schools or colleges or training program for adult professionals. You don't cover topics, you uncover topics, right? And that is learning to learn, unlearn, and relearn. This is a very important trait for all of us to manage those 4 things I talked about: multiple careers, parallel careers, getting into everywhere, and adversities, right? So you have to learn to learn, relearn, and unlearn. That's the third thing I want to leave everyone with. The fourth thing is, I've always seen this just as a risk mitigation plan, and I'm also talking a little bit about your parallel careers and so on. Have something by the side, which gives you money. I'm not saying do anything illegal or unethical, but besides your core job, you should either be a very smart investor, so invest in financial instruments, or actually do something on the side which you enjoy doing and also gives you little money. It may not be as much as what you're getting from your job, but please keep something on the side. Keep doing something on the side. Keep trying something on the side, right? On a weekend morning or something like that, right? It could be a small thing. You never know how big it can become later, right? Some of these hobbies can actually become much bigger and actually become a profession in many cases. The fifth thing I wanted to talk about is resilience. And there was a study done by a Harvard prof called Tal Ben Shahar. He's an Israeli origin professor. You can actually Google him, Tal Ben Shahar, Harvard. He talks on happiness, and he's an extremely expensive, prof to listen to. I think in Indian context, he charges. Several years back, he was like 50 lakhs for an hour or something like that. So fortunately, I had an opportunity to listen to him in face to face, and I liked one of the concepts he talked about, and this is about how you handle adversity. Everyone goes through adversity, but the high performers, will always bounce back better. They have more resilience. Uh, you know, in the Indian context, let's take the example of Amitabh Bachchan. He's a super performer, right? Uh, he has had adversity. I mean, he started off in his Bollywood career, became a superstar. He started a company. He lost everything in that company. He became bankrupt. He lost his stardom, and he got back through KBC. That's Kaun Banega Crorepati, and today he's a superstar again. And he's a superstar. I mean, he's a super performer. Even when he was down on the dumps, he was actually a super performer, right? Not to take away his performance capability at that point in time. But it is how one bounces back that makes one a superstar and a super performer, right? It's not, whether who has faced more adversity. It's about how you come out of it, right? So it's about resilience. How soon and faster and effectively can you sort of bounce back? My last point is, uh, you know, it's actually a repetition of the first point, which is it's all there. Uh, you
Belief.
know, it's about your beliefs. I want to bring that as a separate point because I want to focus on that much more than other points. Is that everything is in you? It's all there. You don't have to go out anywhere to change things. And these are very very high level learnings from my own life, and I have reflected back today morning about this show. If you want me to do a quick recap, the first thing is that it's all there in you. You have to have the belief. Second is invest in networks, invest in relationships which you enjoy. Third is learn to learn, uh, unlearn and relearn. Fourth thing is have something on the side. uh, Fifth is resilience and bouncing back. And sixth is a repetition of the first point, which is it's all there, right? So I just wanted to sort of leave these six takeaways for the young emerging managers who might be listening to this show.
Thank you so much, Pawas. That was a very powerful four struggles or challenges that people actually don't realize that they are going through and how you can overcome them. I mean, failing forward is one of the key things that you have talked about, and I think that was brilliantly put. Pawas, we are coming to close to the show now, so which means that I will have to bring you to that. Maybe just one last question, Devesh. Would you like to ask about risk and innovation? And we will then wrap the show.
Yeah, I think that's something which I have been really intrigued by you, Powers, because you have been into a career where you have worked around innovation as well as risk, both of them in parallel, and that's very that's like balancing art which you need to have, because normally if you are looking for innovation, there would be the byproduct of is the risk which would be associated to it. And at the
Yeah.
same time, you have been as a chief risk officer in your previous role, and that's where you would be looking on, okay, how we can mitigate the risk. So how as a leader you see that innovation and risk goes hand in hand? Maybe that would be one of
And
the
how
key
our
things which
emerging
I
leaders can bring in more innovation and risk.
Okay, so I would love to respond to this question at length, but I can see I think we are really short of time. Maybe if both Kiran and Devesh feel I can come back on the show later some other day.
Yes, yes,
But
Absolutely.
but
absolutely.
Love to
We'll
have you
love to
back.
have you. We'll love to
but
have
but
you.
but just a very very quick response to that in a very anecdotal way. It's like a very high speed car, a racing car, right? A racing car is an innovation over a normal car, right? But it does have brakes. Otherwise, it can just crash. So I would just leave that, and then we are just really short of time on the show. Uh, in my own professional life, I've had the opportunity to look at both innovation and risk as subjects, formal subjects. Uh, and in my own personal life, I have taken the risk to be an entrepreneur at some point in time in my life, but I have done that innovatively. I went to the market with very innovative products, and that worked for me, and it will work for anyone actually. So I will leave that here, but maybe we can uncover, as I said, this
Absolutely.
subject
Yes,
maybe in some other show later on.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Pawas, for sharing with our listeners today about risk and innovation. The fact is that you shifted careers, which was for many a risky move. But if you are creative enough and are financially secure, you will be able to take that plunge. So have that right mindset and let it be like the river that flows, and the path will be found. And I would also want to just summarize once again what Pawas had said, that don't be too struggled about, we will have uncertainties. We all are having multiple careers. We also have parallel careers. We will always go through these adversities, but in life, believe in yourself, because the power lies within you. And if
Yeah.
you believe in your inner power, you will have the resilience to overcome your challenges and mitigate the risks that you might face. With that, I would like to say thank you to Pawas Krishna Agarwal for joining us. This is me, Kiran Sandhu, and Devesh Mohan signing off. For more information about Leadership Card, do reach our website, which is www.leadershipcard.com. Every week, Leadership Talks for Emerging Leaders is back every Saturday, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time, with a new leader to share their thoughts and journey. Till next week, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Devesh. Thanks a lot, Kiran.
Thank you. Thank you.